What's going on, everybody? It's Jay Myrax, and today I wanted to just talk to y'all a little bit about a couple things that I had on my mind. So, you know, it's almost time for NAMM again. Winter NAMM 2016 is coming up in January. I'm always excited about, NAMM because NAMM is always a new chance to see what other manufacturers and companies have been thinking about in terms of pushing the music production game forward. So it's always interesting to see, what kind of new ideas, what things are trending in terms of technology, what are people looking into as a prominent technology or forward-thinking technology. And it's just always good to always go to NAMM to reconnect with people that I may have met in the past. And, I've been going to NAMM now for almost about 10 years. And it's always been an interesting thing. Some years you have years where it feels like everything is like dope, everything is new, everything is incredible. I remember one of my favorite years at NAMM was actually 2009. That's when Machine came out. And when Machine came out, it was incredible because you had so much stuff on the market coming out at the same time. I remember the the Open Labs joints that came out too, the ones with the pads and stuff. I think it was a Gen 5 or whatever. And I was really excited about that. And, I was talking to one of my good producer buddies who was endorsed by both Native Instruments and Open Labs at the time. And he was just so excited about telling me all the new products and how he was using them in his studio already. And it got me really excited. And, 2009 was before my time in Native Instruments. I actually started working at Native Instruments a little bit later that year. But anyhow, NAMM is always cool. There's some years where you go to NAMM though, and it's like a lot of the same stuff. There's a lot of times where I've gone in the past couple years, and it's just been like, man, nobody has anything new to show. It's all kind of rehashes, like the same type of keyboards, the same type of, it was a couple years where it was just like nothing but software. And not that I have anything against software at all. It's just that I like to see where people are thinking in terms of both software and hardware. I think that software is always going to be limited by the hardware and the computers that we're able to use the software on. So I also like to see what kind of computer systems people are dreaming up as well. So when I see a situation when there's only just software available, it really makes me feel like nobody has been thinking about the future of technology. So now I'm getting to a point where I feel like the past couple years have been pretty nice in terms of a good blend between hardware and software releases. In the past couple years, you've seen a resurgence of hardware instruments as far as analog is concerned. So, a lot of companies are starting to look back into analog, which is great because I think analog is something that software emulates to a degree, but it can never replace analog. I think analog has a very unique sound, has a very unique characteristic and tone, and I really appreciate the sound of analog and digital. But the thing is, now analog has come back in a way where it's more about low cost, high performance units, and that's a big departure from the old paradigm of like expensive, high quality instruments in the analog domain. Now, don't get me wrong. You still have people like Dave Smith that are doing more of the high-end analog systems. That's the full-fledged, polyphonic analog synthesizers like the Prophet 6, which the Prophet 6, I don't know if y'all played that, but the Prophet 6 is amazing. It sounds amazing. If I could choose one analog synthesizer to have right now, it would just be the Prophet 6, no question about it. So, that was one of the things that inspired me last year, was seeing, such a focus on analog stuff. You know, Roland came with the boutique series, and I know a lot of people that have the boutique series. You know, it's a cool idea. It's kind of like fitting into the whole VST domain in a way. I feel like, or I should say, it kind of fits into the whole iPad culture more so, because it doesn't really offer the full-fledged experience of analog with multiple outputs, and you know, it has a 1/8 inch out instead of TRS outputs or balanced outputs. So it's very much catered to the guys that are used to hooking up, say, an iPad or an iPhone to their computers or whatever to record it. And it gives you polyphonic capabilities, and it's great in terms of its size and footprint. So you can have a whole bunch of these things, and you know, you can create a system that works for the modern studio, which I feel like is a lot more scaled down. Studios today are not a big room full of equipment. It's a lot of times it's, you know, it's a laptop and a MIDI controller or something else maybe. So I think it fits very well with the culture of today's music production world. But I'm also interested to see what's going to come next year in 2016. Is there going to be more of a focus on the software side? Or are we going to see more analog stuff? Are we going to see more integrated systems? When Machine came out in 2009, I was so excited because it was an integrated system, a system that was designed to work with the computer, but also designed for you to have a full hands-on experience, to be fully immersed in the equipment and not so much immersed into the computer. So it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. And I think that that technology has been more so adapted within the past couple years. You have Akai with the Renaissance, and you have Ableton now with the Push 2, and you have a few other options. And I would like to see that idea extrapolated upon more. I feel like what I still haven't seen is someone do more of a complete workstation style keyboard that is integrated into the computer. Because I used to really enjoy the speedy workflow that I would get from using just a workstation keyboard. Now, granted, you know, a workstation keyboard today is still accessible through some of the newer ones like the Chronos and the Fana or the FA06 and 08 series and all that stuff. But I'd really like to see something that integrates well with the computer, where I can pull it up as a VST, and maybe even have it an embedded system where the sound engine is still inside the actual hardware, but all the software controls are also accessible on the computer, as well as the onboard keyboard, so that way I can have a fully integrated system. I can be immersed in the keyboard while still having everything saved on my computer. That would be awesome. You know, that would be something that would really change the way I work. But I'd like to know what you guys think. What are some things that you're interested in seeing for next year at NAMM? Because I think NAMM is always an opportunity for us to move forward and really get inspired and get ready for the next push or next wave of technology in the music production world. So yeah, just wanted to get your thoughts on that. Let me know what you think. Also, you know, I've been talking to some of my buddies. This is just another side topic, but I've been talking to some of my buddies about sleep and sleep patterns. Because as creatives, sleep patterns are very important. Sleep patterns really have a major effect on us as creatives, because a lot of what we do in terms of our inspiration is affected by our energy levels as well. And a lot of us don't work or don't do music full time. A lot of us do music as a hobby, even though you may be passionate about it. A lot of us do it as a hobby, so it becomes a secondary action that you have to take and you have to make time for. And I know some people handle it different ways. Some people handle it by sleeping less, for example. Some people value being able to do the music and get what they need to get done throughout the week, so they'll stay up late every night doing their work. And it works for some people. For me personally, I've played with a few things. I've done the whole go to work your 8, 9, 10 hours, come back home, try to eat, try to handle some business around the house, and then come back, try to come to the studio and have some type of fresh perspective. But I'll tell you, it's very difficult. It's very difficult to do that for me. Coming home from work after a long day and then having to sit down and find some energy, some high energy to put into my production. What I've noticed is that sometimes if I come home after a long day and then sit in the studio, I may be a little bit more tired. So my energy in terms of my music production might be a bit lower. So then the music is affected in a way. So maybe what I create is more chill or mellow. And I realized that for me personally, I like to be able to make music first thing in the morning, because that's when I have my strongest energy. That's when I have my most motivation, I'm the freshest. I have the freshest take and freshest perspective in the morning. When I come home at the evening, I got all the things of the world that have happened. Those things are on my mind, and those kind of affect the music. But in the morning, the first thing I do, I'll take my shower, pray. I say my prayers for about 5-10 minutes, get dressed, and then I'm ready to go. And the thing is, on the weekend, I can do that. In the weekend, if I use normal hours, I can get up first thing in the morning and do all that kind of routine. But during the week, I wasn't able to do that. So one of the things I did was I started to change my hours. So now it's been about getting home, maybe eating a light dinner, maybe some salad or something light, handling a couple things, and I'm really getting to bed earlier now. So if I can get to bed by about 7:30, 8 p.m., I'm okay. And then I'm getting up around 1:30, and I'm starting my day off the way I would normally do it. And that's helping me now, because the first thing I'm able to do after I handle my business, I get my prayers done and all that stuff, I'm coming in here with fresh energy, motivated, and I'm working on my stuff first. And that's important for me. It's important for me to be able to work on my own thing first before I give anybody else my energy. So what I mean is, for me, it's important to have the first full burst of energy into my production, because I can come in with a much higher energy than I would if I do my music production after I've worked all day and handled all my business and ran all my errands and all that. So, I'm interested to know how you guys are dealing with the production thing. Are you the type that stays up late? Are you the type that says, I'm not going to do any production work during the week, I'm just going to wait till the weekend where I have a full day, or full at least 8 hours straight that I can work? How do you deal with it? Because it's an issue for a lot of us. And I've heard people like Ryan Leslie, for example, say he does the whole dimaxian sleep, which, if you look at polyphasic sleep, it's a very interesting way of dealing with sleep. And I tried the dimaxian thing. It doesn't really work for me. The sleeping for short periods of time, that doesn't work for me. I need at least 5 hours of sleep straight to feel like feel worth anything. Because if I'm doing these 30-minute intervals of sleep or whatever, I forgot what he was doing exactly. But if you look at what polyphasic sleep does, it tries to segment your sleep in different different parts of the day. So you may be up for a certain period of time, and then you sleep for a short period of time, and then you're up for another period of time. And that's like, that doesn't work. I like to push all the way through. So what I did was just shift my hours, and that works more because I'm getting up early. I'm making my music first thing, and then after I make some music for maybe 3-4 hours, then I'm headed to my job. And by the time I get to my job, I'm cool. You know, I'm still fresh. I'm still ready to go. And then I push all the way through until, you know, during the day I start getting a little bit less energy, but I'm still fine. By the time I'm almost done with work, then I'm starting to get tired, but that's fine because I'm done with work now. As opposed to being tired and then coming here and trying to find energy. So anyhow, let me know what you think about that. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts about NAMM? What are your thoughts about the whole sleep situation and being a music producer and trying to find time to handle your passion plus your day-to-day responsibilities? All right, so if you have any questions, you guys know, hit me up at www.altruwest.com. All right, if you have questions about music production, equipment, music production, sound design, techniques, and anything of that nature, you can sign up on my site to get a consultation with me. I do one-on-one consultations online. And if you're local to the LA area, we can possibly find a way to meet up and do a consultation there. Also, like I said, we got the Altruwest or the True West t-shirts and the crew neck sweaters available. So make sure you go to the altruwest.com store and pick one of those up. Support us. All right. So until next time, peace and God bless.